Watch it, everybody, and welcome to another Reddit Files. In this one, I wanted to talk about this post where I try to consider what does it mean for Ripple and XRP to have regulatory clarity, but for that clarity to not extend to any other cryptos in the US. What does that mean for XRP? What does it mean for Ripple? What does it mean for those cryptocurrencies? And I don't think it's that much of a far-fetched um, proposition, especially now in light of the recent action from the SEC against staking, where, as we are aware, Kraken has capitulated and banned staking for its US customers for everything apart from Ethereum, oddly enough. So there is a case where we have, in quotes, regulatory clarity for one cryptocurrency, but not for any others. In this case, Ethereum for staking. I still don't think it's clarity. It does seem like it's more of an arbitrary pronouncement by the SEC. I don't know how much it hasn't been taken to court. It hasn't been tested in court as law, but it certainly does move markets. It certainly has a chilling effect. So, as we're all aware, the SEC has a case against Ripple and XRP. Oddly, it's been ongoing for over 2 years now. Summary judgment, I believe, is in the 23rd of March or around March. It could be earlier, it could be slightly later. And many people think there will be some kind of clarity around that judgment this year, let's say. If it's not by the end of March, it will be later on. So I'll start by reading out this Reddit that I wrote, and we'll look at some of the better comments that we received. So what does regulatory clarity for XRP, but not for the rest of the crypto sector, mean for Ripple and XRP? I've spent the last few weeks looking into the possibility of a settlement of the SEC versus Ripple case, which satisfies Ripple by stating that XRP is not a security on a go-forward basis, but doesn't provide the same clarity to the rest of the crypto sector. To be clear and to give credit to Brad Garlinghouse and the team at Ripple, they have consistently stated that they believe they are fighting for the whole industry and not just Ripple and XRP. However, it was only on the 11th hour when the rest of the industry decided to support Ripple. Coinbase and Blockchain Association, along with a number of other entities, filed amicus curiae briefs in the United States District Court, Southern District of New York, in support of Ripple. My contention to date has been that regulatory clarity for XRP in the US at the expense of the rest of the crypto sector will force some $9 billion of assets held in non-Bitcoin crypto funds to be reallocated. This will have a negative effect on the prices of those assets, and if some proportion of that 9 billion is allocated to XRP asset funds, we can expect significant increase in the price and market capitalization of XRP. With this in mind, I wanted to see what extent the likes of Coinbase and the Blockchain Association recognize this risk by analyzing the content of their amicus curiae briefs. And here are my initial thoughts. So when I did read these briefs, just to be clear, I wanted to see if the fact that at the 11th hour we suddenly had lots of friends of the court submitting their perspectives in support of Ripple versus the SEC, was that really driven by a kind of understanding that if Ripple wins, the nature of a settlement could be that the SEC gives clarity to Ripple and XRP, but avoids extending that clarity to any other cryptos. And I think there are two areas, if I remember correctly. One of them is this kind of blue skies or blue sky ruling, which I'm not very clear about, if I'm honest. That seems to be like the nuclear option, which means the SEC completely lose control of the crypto sector. And I'm sorry I haven't looked into that blue sky kind of verdict in much detail. I didn't find that much information about it, if I'm honest, but I haven't looked very hard either. And then there is the kind of the notice argument as well, where Ripple wasn't given enough kind of notice that what they're doing is breaking the law. I think if either of those two, if Judge Anissa Torres finds those arguments to be compelling, it could be disastrous for the SEC because it limits their control over the crypto sector. So, you know, these other entities like Coinbase and the Blockchain Association may have realized that and panicked that, oh hell, we better support Ripple. And in our briefs, we, you know, broaden these things to make sure that whatever judgment is given, whatever clarity is given, isn't constrained to XRP and Ripple and protects the broader industry. So Coinbase's 27-page long brief starts with stating the interests of the amicus curiae. They reference the size of the crypto sector in terms of its value, the number of participating institutions, and the number of partners in the ecosystem. They end the opening section with Coinbase respectfully urges the court to deny the SEC's motion, asking the court to summarily dismiss Ripple's fair notice defense before any trial. So the fair notice defense is really important because the SEC has tried to dismiss that defense. Coinbase here is saying to the judge, please don't dismiss it. And if it's found to be a valid defense, it's a really powerful defense because the rest of the crypto sector could make the same argument that they weren't given fair notice that their activities were illegal. There was no regulatory clarity. As I said, the other pillar is this blue skies one, which I'm not familiar with, but I will look into that. Coinbase seems to be indicating its priority for the fair notice defense to be the significant factor resulting in settlement or otherwise positive summary judgment for Ripple. Clearly, the fair notice defense can then be applied to almost the entire crypto sector and could indicate that Coinbase are aware of the risk of settlement constrained to Ripple and XRP, as I've stated earlier. With the Blockchain Association, they end their interest section with this brief, however, is submitted by the Blockchain Association, not by any individual members or their affiliates, and seeks to advance the Blockchain Association's overarching goal of clear and sensible regulatory policy, not the pecuniary interests or legal positions of any individual members or their affiliates. Again, I say unsurprisingly clearly articulating the interests of the broader sector, the broader crypto sector. The Blockchain Association also contend that many digital assets are not securities, another defense against the ruling that provides clarity only for XRP. So anyway, I did make a video about this earlier. I want to go back and see what some of the comments were, better comments from this thread. So Sherman44, again, thank you. You've commented previously on my other posts. Institutional investors will be more likely to invest in something with clarity than something without, in my opinion. XRP will have a head start in that aspect. Most of the money that makes up the crypto market cap is from retail investors, and institutional ones are just sitting and waiting with more money than the space has seen. So yeah, I totally agree. And like the point of my argument has been the institutions that currently hold Ethereum, let's say in grayscale, will suddenly have a fiduciary responsibility to liquidate that asset and move it to one which has regulatory clarity. Now you can argue that Ethereum, and many people will, that Ethereum has regulatory clarity. I would say no, it hasn't. The SEC has transactionally, when it's been beneficial to them, said that Ethereum has clarity, or it was only Hinman, the chairman, one of the senior managers within the SEC, who stated that Ethereum has clarity, but that's not the position of the SEC. And then they said it was initially a personal opinion, and then they changed it to it was the opinion of his department. Whatever suited them. In the case, in the Ripple versus SEC case, they just said that to the judge. The judge was aware of this, of this nonsense. Equivocation. I can't speak at the moment. Where they continuously change their position around who actually made this statement. So I don't think Ethereum has clarity at all. I think Ethereum is in cahoots with the SEC, but it doesn't have clarity. And a new chairman of the SEC could easily turn around and say it never had clarity. So it depends on who is actually in control of the SEC at the moment. Nothing has been tested in law. My tits are jacked, apparently. Got 36 votes. Let's not go down that trail. W1YY. In my opinion, it will be more than likely to be software companies that will see an opening on providing corporates with the front end technology to incorporate the benefits with settlements. I am already aware of companies trying to solve volume and transactions per second, and XRP will provide these vendors with a new way of providing that potential. And then the banks will also want to try and get an advantage in this space because it may result in lower overall costs of liquidity, and XRP may offer then quicker wins. Okay, I all agree with all of that, but I'm not sure it has any real bearing on the specific point where if XRP and Ripple get clarity, but the rest of the crypto sector don't, what are the ramifications of that? I'm saying up to 9 billion of assets in the US held in funds will get transferred to assets that have regulatory clarity in those funds. And that's really only Bitcoin and XRP. Most investment into XRP is retail. Once banks have that assurance and clarity, expect price to skyrocket. Agreed. With clarity, I think everyone believes that we will get an increase in the price of XRP. Doge to 1,000. Brad Garlinghouse has done a tremendous job throughout the SEC lawsuit. Ripple now has over 300 customers utilizing cross-border payments. These are corporate customers, obviously. The Ripple team has done even more by expanding the usage of the XRPL. They have now introduced support for CBDCs, NFTs, and more. XRP is the currency that operates on the XRPL created by Ripple. It wasn't created by Ripple. XRPL was created by a different foundation and gifted to, it's open source, so Ripple can use it. The XRP that the foundation created was given to Ripple, which resides now in escrow. Ripple did not create the XRPL. It's open source technology. They're certainly contributing to its development though. Ripple stands firm against XRP being a security, as it is not a main investment contract to Ripple. Main investment contract. When one buys XRP, they do not have a share of Ripple, correct? In fact, Ripple is a private company. It has yet made an attempt to go public. It hasn't gone public yet, but it will do eventually. There are many cryptocurrencies out there that is a security or that are securities. I have noticed majority of meme tokens is an investment contract with the creator and or company. Satoshi's Shiba Inu is an investment contract in my opinion. The SHIB community is hoping for Shitoshi to introduce burn mechanisms to deplete the token supply. Yeah, I get all of that. I understand all of that. Again, I just wondering how many people think that if so what is the likelihood that we could end up with this kind of settlement where the SEC actually doesn't give clarity to the rest of the crypto sector? And here's an interesting, I know how much we all love our conspiracy theories, but here's David Short saying everything is a matter of perspective. For the lobsters in the galley, the sinking of the Titanic was a miracle. True. Yeah, and I did reply only if one's allowed a perspective in the first instance. But yeah, so this, I guess the narrative that's unfolding here, which recent events are enforcing in my opinion, is that so far we have two crypto assets, Bitcoin and Ethereum, that have some kind of regulatory clarity in the US. Bitcoin has, I think, irrespective of whatever the SEC says, it's too late. It's not a security, and there are many vested interests, JP Morgan included, who will make sure that Bitcoin is not declared a security. Ethereum, through consensus, Joe Lubin, and all the corruption that I think we've observed with the SEC, has for now been given some kind of proclaimed clarity but with no legal enforcement. And this is exactly what is now being enforced in the staking area, even though I think Gensler himself said that Ethereum staking becomes a thing, then it's becomes centralized and could be considered to be a security, which I think this is what's happening. I think they're corralling. It's easier for the SEC to corral everyone into Ethereum and then claim that Ethereum is security and punish everyone, rather than try and go through 5 or 6 different large kind of, or maybe 10 or 20 large crypto currencies that allow staking. And I think what's really interesting now is that we're in over 2 years into this Ripple SEC case, where everything to me screams that some kind of clarity is going to be delivered for XRP, even if Ripple get punished to some extent. And yeah, going to what Joel is saying, maybe for us XRP holders, we were the lobsters in the Titanic and are about to get a reprieve. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. I know I didn't go through every comment here. It was, this one's an interesting one, right? It's from Lib Peanut Butter 99999. It's interesting to me that the possibility of XRP becoming a Schedule D security is being swept under the rug. This would probably have the greatest impact on the price for those already invested and block anyone who is not at least for some time, who is not at least for some time. There would still be a secondary market, as the qualified investors would be able to sell after 90-day holding period. This really is the best solution for XRP and would be the biggest boon to all those who hold XRP now. When Ripple says they're fighting for all of crypto, that is really true, because it's in their best interest to settle or move forward with their plan of going public. I agree. This is why I find the negative comments towards XRP and Ripple so heinous and ignorant. They're helping the whole industry, and some of the people are just too stupid to get it. Yeah, so look, definitely, I think this is a fascinating argument. I looked into Schedule D, by the way, Lib Peanut, and it does seem to, the thing is, there is a time limit on declaring a Schedule D, but I would imagine it's possible for the SEC to say to Ripple, look, your early sales, you'll pay 100 million in fines, and you will declare your early sales to US non-accredited investors, if there were any. You could then declare those to be report them under Section D securities, and there's your early sales dealt with. Sales of XRP in the secondary market. Now that we've seen what's happened in Library, I think they're unquestionably not securities. It'll be very difficult for the ruling, I think, to be made that secondary sales of XRP as securities. But maybe within the framework of a fine for Ripple, Schedule D could be used. I don't know if it's necessary or wise for the SEC to do that, but it could point to, hey, we had regulation for this, there was clarity all along, it should have been a Schedule D security. Ripple didn't report it as a schedule, the early sales as a Schedule D securities, but we're giving them the opportunity to do so, and we're going to bend over backwards to accommodate them with $100 million fine. That could work, that I don't, and for my limited knowledge, I would say that's an option. So that was a really great comment, actually, from Lib Peanut. I'll end this one here for now. I hope that was enjoyable. If you like this video in the format, do let me know. Like, subscribe, share, all the malarkey. You can find me at hoos.crypto on YouTube and on Twitter as well. Thank you very much.